This is Terrence Andre Banks, coming with the most controversial and disturbing topic, especially for us as humans. And this is a follow-up from my first video talking about the most controversial topics because a best friend posed some questions to me that, understanding his heart and where he was coming from, that I didn't want to give a typical answer for. So I'm beating around the chase here, and let me kind of end that with the topics about, is there a hell, and will I go into hell, or will my mother go into hell? And this was proposed to me after the most grave time in his life, his mother passing away. Mother was very close to both of us, and of course I came directly to him and told him three different Bible verses that come to mind: Matthew 25 verse 41, Matthew 25 verse 46, Revelation 21 verses 8. And just looked at it there to make sure I have kept my memory. I can read them for you, but I wanted to propose this YouTube channel be a little bit different than just giving you those verses. The subject is such a touchy one because this is for your eternal soul. And again, if you're a believer, it's pretty clear. But what if you're not? What if you're searching? What if I don't believe that. Does the absence of your belief translate that it's still a hell? Let me propose it a little bit differently. When I talk back to this friend, I started from the premise of, do you believe that you are righteous? Is your mother righteous? Was she a good person? And of course, he's going to say yes. And that's what everybody would typically answer. Therefore, for that, just on that merit alone, I shouldn't be able to go to hell. And that comes to the basis of, from us, again, as a Christian standpoint, no, of course that's not the case. You have to actually believe. But what if you're struggling to believe? And as human beings, we always try to give an answer because, one, we want to be secure in what we believe as well, especially as one who has a Christian faith. So again, that really didn't answer the question for him. And especially because someone approached him that was also in his family and says, did your mother believe? And if she didn't believe, she's going to hell. And the person was a relative of his. So therefore, it made him very upset and angry. So which therefore he came back to me with the question, because he trusts me. Again, it's like a brother to me, and says, what do you believe? Think my mother's in hell? And you just can't answer that question just that easily. Because again, you have to know the person who you're talking to. I started from the premise of, again, do you believe that you are righteous? And again, the answer comes back again, yeah, of course I do. I don't believe that. Well, it's not the fact that I'm righteous. It's the fact that I was a good person and I followed things on a moral characteristic. She took care of me and the family, and even me, you know me. And that answer for me will be, okay, you're not going to hell, or your mother's not going to hell. But that's where the problem comes in. I'm not the one who created this particular entity or place. And that's where the bigger question lies. The problem with the question, is there hell? It comes from the standpoint of we are in control of our internal soul and everything that we do. And we want to believe that we're righteous, we're good people. And therefore, for that standing, I should not be condemned to this place for eternal damnation. See, I look at things a little completely different now. It's from the standpoint of, one, it makes comfort that I'm not in control. And when I started rereading the life of Jesus and the scripture he talked about, and it's usually designed for a person talking about wealth, but it was stated that when the wealthy man came to Jesus and said, teacher, teacher, what do I need to do to be saved? He said, you know what the answer is. Follow commandments and do that. I've already done that. But he also stated there, and I'm kind of paraphrasing, why do you call me righteous? There's no one good except the Father. And I'm going to utilize that as a premise for how I rephrase the question back to Rent. One comes to the standpoint that if from your understanding that Jesus was without sin, if you take it from that standpoint, and he stated when he was on earth that I'm not even righteous, or implied that I'm not righteous except God, that could maybe change the dynamic of the question of, is there hell? One, you got to start from the premise, do you believe that there's something of a larger power outside of yourself? Do you believe that you past the Big Bang Theory, that things are by accident and masses come together and whatever the process is? Because I never even, again, it's hard for me to say because I never even put that into my thought process, even though I understand the science that goes along with it. I just believe that, because I was raised in the Christian faith, there was always something more outside of myself, and randomness couldn't give me the answer. Rest assured that the question still was up debate. He was just a little bit more clearer, or he felt more comfortable by my answer. One. And for me, because I choose to believe in the Bible, which I call the wonderful story, and the life of what Jesus stated, that is what I use as a premise to state, gives the answer, is there hell or not? One, I'm looking for something outside of myself to save me, because again, it's just the words that Jesus stated while he was on earth. And if you're coming from that premise, then you also have to take the leap of faith of saying, is the stuff that I read in the Bible correct as well? And if you take it from that point, then you also have to be willing to say, are those verses on hell itself applicable to me? Now this is still, I'm just touching the surface right here. And as more thoughts come to my mind about, is there a hell? And will I go to hell? I just want to at least give that as a basis of where the conversation started and is continuing. Because my answer wasn't as clear, because even as a Christian, you struggle with telling someone for condemnation and damnation for the rest of your existence. I can't even imagine and internalize what a soul in eternity is. You know, you see them in movies and stuff like that. It really, and graphic, vivid images of fire. And that's from my understanding. Anything outside of God, the Creator, what could be interpreted as hell. Now, of course, somebody might challenge me on that. But again, imagine this someone that you're close to, like a brother or family member, who is struggling to find the answers, especially after someone who's close to them passed. You don't want to provide that. Don't be so quick to say that kind of statement that they're just going, because you're not in control of that. And you're hoping that at the end, if you take the choice to believe that there is a God and he's in control of everything that we do ultimately, then maybe that person can make a different decision. But again, from the scriptures itself, it's pretty clear that there is a hell. But that's coming from the basis of what you believe as a standpoint as a Christian. Until my next video, continually ask, what do you believe? And just propose those questions, even if you're strong in your faith or if you're searching. What do you believe? Talk to someone who can be honest with you and muster through those tough questions. Talk to you soon in my next video.